It's 7 o'clock, so I'll call at least the finance committee to order. I guess there's not enough for a quorum on the select board, so we'll start from there. All right.
Me, myself, and I doesn't count?
We'll do all three. So I will call the finance committee of April the 21st to order. I'll just take a quick roll. Amy?
Here.
And Peter cannot join us tonight. Paula?
Here.
Mike Fiore?
Here.
Bill Rotundi?
Here.
Aaron?
Here.
Kevin?
Here.
Zach?
Here.
And Bonnie?
Here.
Excellent, thank you. I'll just start first. I don't know if Chief Simmons is on the line, but he did invite us, the finance committee, to be a live fire. I believe it's next Friday. If he's not on, we'll confirm the date, but we are invited if we'd like to see their operation, to see how that works. So we are invited to that, all right?
I believe it's 9 to 1 on April 30th, Friday.
April 30th, 9 to 1. Okay, thanks, Meg.
John's gonna be there. That's correct.
All right, so Mike, I see we have some items to go through tonight. Hopefully we get through everything tonight, so I will turn it over to you at this point.
All right, if we can go through the special first. And tonight, Article 1 is on the new Senior Community Support Center, the new Town Hall, and the new athletic complex. And the selectmen on April 15th did vote to recommend this. And I know we have members of the building committee on to present to you or answer any questions that you have.
Okay, I do have one question, and tell me if it's somewhat out of scope, but I'm just curious, who will be overseeing these projects, and how will change orders and all of that be implemented or overseen? And how is that communication going to work with the town, assuming everything goes forward on the 8th?
Well, the school department will be overseeing the project at the school with the building committee. And on the building committee, there's a representative from the Board of Selectmen that would oversee the project on the town hall. And also the building committee has a representative from the Council on Aging. So everything more or less, and the building committee can correct me if I'm wrong. First of all, they'll have an owner's project manager to assist them, who would review all change order requests first and then present them to the committee to be reviewed and approved.
And is that project manager outsourced? Is that not a member of the town? Is that somebody we hire?
No, that is someone that we hire. Yeah, we
Okay.
We do hire that. That's part of the cost that's included in this project. As Mr. Unit stated, the building committee, is responsible for the management of these three projects, and there are representatives from each group included. But the overall management of the projects does fall under the building committee, and we will be meeting with the owner's project manager throughout the projects. We will be reviewing change orders, invoices, schedule, status, and advising back to the select board and school committee how the projects are going. So it will be managed. In my previous experience, building committees have met every 2 weeks in order to facilitate change orders and process requests for payment on through for approval for the warrant and payment to the vendors. So it's a closely monitored process.
And Donna, thank you very much, and for your group, for all the work you put into this. I should have started with that earlier.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
It's been a lot of work, and it seems like it's been a really long time to get to this point. So much appreciated that you guys have done, and the review and the time you've put into project in front of the town and a step closer to fruition.
Well, we're looking to put forward to putting more time in, so that'll be fun.
I like to hear that. Thank you. And so my last one on that, how will the projects, the status of each of these projects be communicated to the town? Is there going to be something proactively on the website so we can see, status of the projects? And really, as we do get change orders, is that going to be communicated?
Well, all of the meetings, of course, are public meetings, so they can be attended, hopefully in person in the future, but if not, through Zoom. We will be posting on the town hall website, both on the main page and on the building committee page, on the council on aging page, on the school department page. Change orders, let's really hope there aren't that many, that we do all the proper work before, so we have very few change orders, especially for value increase change orders. I'm not a big fan of those. I prefer value decrease. So, the normal means of communication to get the word out.
Okay, and I just think it's going to be vitally important so we're proactive and transparent with the townsfolk. This has been a long process, and I think the information is great. I think we've been presented with such information already. I just want to keep that going and be transparent with the town.
I agree.
We move forward. So I don't know if anyone else at this point on the Finance Committee, or even Dinah, I should have asked you earlier, if you have any kind of prepared remarks for either you or your committee to the Finance Committee at this point. I know we've heard a lot of these.
At this point, we're here to answer questions. I think we have, to date, been very transparent with what we've been trying to put out there. We've come to various meetings. As you know, it is a group project, taglined Norton for everyone. And we are looking forward to the town meeting and the positive vote that we know we're going to get there. And moving the projects forward, it's going to be a good transition for our community.
Excellent.
I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yep, sorry, Dinah. Does anyone on the Finance Committee have any questions regarding this project for Dinah and her team?
Mr. Chairman, I have a question for Dinah.
Okay.
Dinah, sorry, I don't have the project budget in front of me, but for the town hall project, was the expense included for like temporary office space that would be needed while the projects are being conducted?
No, there is no temporary office space budgeted. We will be building the town hall, proposed town hall behind the existing town hall, moving staff when that is complete, and then at that point in time, we will begin the site work on the current town hall, which is included in the budget. A big piece of this is that site work, which involves bringing down the, I'm sorry, I'm very visual here, on the right-hand side on the gymnasium portion of the building, reestablishing that wall that we would be bringing down so the fire department can expand over, and this is one of the unforeseen bonuses, the fire department can expand over into the existing space, doing all the grading, all the parking lots, but only after staff is moved. So no, we're not spending rent on anything temporary. People will stay where they are until they pick up their offices and move them to the back.
So you don't perceive, business as usual being disrupted?
No,
in
I
that?
don't.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Was that?
Dana, big concern of the community is cost overruns. Last week, building materials hit an all-time high, and they continue to rise for whatever reason that is. Do you think you're still going to be able to keep within the budget, seeing the skyrocketing cost of materials at the moment?
At the risk of sounding quite egotistical, we will stay within the budget.
Okay.
We have a certain amount of money that we have advertised to the town. This is what we will remain in. As we move forward, we will be going into drawings, the real, absolutely, the project drawings. We have the opportunity to engage in some cost savings there. we have the opportunity to look at how the buildings function internally, since we are all going through a sense of flux with this new COVID environment and reality that we're going to be coming out of. But no, we have asked for a certain amount of money, and we will not go over that certain amount of money.
Thank you.
And Diana, with that said, can you give me what the contingencies are for each of the projects? How much we've put aside for contingencies?
Okay, hold on. I have to find the right piece of paper here. I think we have a 3% contingency for each project, and a 5%, yes, and a 5% escalation cost built in.
Mr. Chair,
Bill?
so Dinah, is that saying 8% within each budget?
Yes.
Thank
Each
you.
budget, will be managed, the overall, this is just my vision, so take this for the grain of salt. I envision having, an overall project budget, and then within those project budget, sub-budgets allocated to each project. So each project does have its own contingency, its own escalation, its own site work, its own equipment and everything. Everything is broken down within those so that I can track exactly where we are within each project to know whether that particular section is on target, is scheduled to go over target, at which point in time we'd have to look within that existing budget to find the money to move from point A to point B. We're not going outside of that budget. So there will be, there could be some fluctuation within, but I plan on tracking each project within the whole. And each does have a contingency and an escalation.
So you know it's very risky to advertise that you're not going outside that budget. And someone's going to hold you to that.
And I think they should, to be honest with you, Bill. I mean, we've asked the taxpayers for a great amount of money, and we're asking for their faith to go forward, and they should hold us to it. We have done we've got 2 cost estimates that came in within $2,000 of each project, from each of the cost estimators. We feel we're right on track, and we should be held to that track.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And I think one of the things I think will be important as well as transparency to all the townsfolk is I think regular reporting to the finance committee on the status of these projects, so we can see how it's working, or if we have a member that's assigned to the working group, so we can be part of those meetings instead of being invited as a public or so on and so forth. So does anyone else from the finance committee have any more questions? And my last one, I think, Meg, did the select board, I think Mike, you said the select board voted on this, but I don't see that noted on our warrant article list.
They did vote on April 15th to recommend it.
Okay.
That is
Thank you.
unanimous.
Thank you.
Steve, I have a question.
Sure, is that Amy?
Yes. So in our meeting materials, we got a document from one of last year's select board meetings that showed the cost estimates for renovating the existing town hall. Is that for us to discuss a different article, or is that for this conversation also?
No, that's just information that you had asked for.
Yeah, I thought it was really eye-opening to see that the expectation is that we would spend almost half as much as a new building.
Yep. And also attached to that was the minutes where the building commissioner said,
That the building might fall down.
yeah, he didn't think the building would withstand any type of renovation.
Yeah, I think that information should be shared broadly with people in the community that think we don't need this building, because clearly to spend $9 million plus to renovate something that might not even stay standing while we're doing it seems crazy.
And looking at that document, Amy, it's interesting to note that on the cost estimate, the price of the purchasing the property next door, which is included in the project, is not listed there. And
Right.
the price of any site work is not listed there. So
And hazard removal, which who
Hazard
knows
removal.
what we'll find in the walls.
That could
that
be very
is
high.
that's
Yeah.
always a very fluid, because that depends too on, how they remove it, and then how far they have to haul it away. That's always within the cost.
So, I mean, potentially we could be spending 2/3 to 3/4 of what a new building would cost to renovate this building that is still too small.
Correct.
Any other discussion from the finance committee?
Just one more, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Zach. Zach, you cut out on me. I'm not sure if it was a...
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, where are we on the land purchases today? Are those pending town meeting, or have we signed a purchase and sale on those?
Town meeting already approved giving the selectmen the authority to purchase the parcels, and one P&S is signed and the other one is still being worked on.
Okay.
I think at this point, if there's no other questions from the finance committee, or I don't think there's much else that we can get, or do we think we're ready? I'll entertain a motion on Article 1 of the special town meeting.
Mr. Chairman,
Amy,
I move that we recommend Article 1 of the special town meeting as written.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to recommend Article 1 as written. Any other discussion, conversation at this point? Okay, hearing none, I'll go to a vote. Amy?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Michael Fiore?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes?
Aaron?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
And I'm also a yes. That's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you for your faith.
The next article, Article 2, this was just a placeholder in case we were trying to see if someone, a person behind us on Miller Terrace would sell us their vacant land that they own, and we don't have any agreement on that, so I'd recommend no action at this time.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to take no action on Article 2.
Mr. Chairman,
Amy?
I move we take no action on Article 2.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to take no action on Article 2 of the special town meeting. Any other discussion, conversation? Here, I'll go to the vote. Amy?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Mike Fiore?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes?
Aaron?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
And I'm also a yes. It's unanimous. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask the town manager something?
Is that
This is Michael Toole. This is Michael Toole.
Go ahead, Michael.
Mike, isn't this going to be removed from the warrant altogether? Didn't we agree on the select board meeting that we were going to remove that?
No, you didn't talk about that one yet.
Okay, I apologize.
They could remove it.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if the vote then needs to remain on or not. That's why I was asking, because the finance committee voted. So, but okay. Thank you.
Article 3, and I just have a question for you, Mr. Chairman. This is a request from the building committee for $1,500 to help supplement the money that was appropriated for the feasibility study that was recently done by the architect. Where it's only $1,500, I just wanted to know if you wanted to move forward with the article or if you'd rather fund it through a reserve fund transfer.
I think, and I'll ask the recommendation of Kenny, but for myself, I think for the small amount, I think we can probably do a transfer from the FinCom Reserve Fund. I think that makes sense. But I don't know if anyone on the Finance Committee has a different opinion.
Mr. Chairman?
Aaron?
Not a different opinion. I think that sounds fine and dandy, an easy way to do it.
I agree.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys.
And the selectmen did vote to recommend this, but if that's the way you'd prefer, I'll bring that to next Monday's meeting,
Okay.
and I'll let us know that.
Thank you, Mike.
The next article is Article 5. This was, I'd recommend no action on this, just to fill you in. The Alternative Transportation Committee had a meeting last night with the engineer and our attorney, and the engineers have submitted their 75% design to the state, and until the state approves the 75% design, we can't start appraisals. And so the committee felt they didn't want to. We have $125,000 set aside right now, but we don't have any idea of what, if there'd be additional funds needed until we do those appraisals. So the committee recommended they'd rather wait until we have that figure so they don't come back and then have to come back another time. And so right now I'd recommend no action on this.
And I guess, Mike, just my only question with the way the last question, if we do recommend no action on the article and then the select turns around and recommends removing it, do we have to entertain a motion now, or do we just, that article's removed, we don't have to do anything else?
You would, as long as you don't care one way or the other, if the selectmen vote to remove it, then there'd be nothing for you to vote.
Okay, all right, it's moved, okay. All right, with that said, I will entertain a motion for no action on Article 5 of the special town meeting.
Mr. Chairman,
Amy?
I move that we recommend no action on Article 5 of the special town meeting warrant as written.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to take no action on Article 5 of the special town meeting. Did I hear some? Okay. Any other discussion, conversation? Hearing none, I'll go to the vote. Amy?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Mike Fiore?
Yes.
Phil?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. That's unanimous.
The next article is Article 8, and we don't have any prior year bills, so I'd recommend no action.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to take no action on Article 8 at this time.
Mr. Chairman,
Amy?
I move that we take no action on Article 8 of the special town meeting warrant.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to take no action on Article 8 of the special town meeting. Any other discussion, conversation? Hearing none, I'll go to the vote. Amy?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Mike Fiore?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. That's unanimous.
The next article is Article 9, Separation Expense, and I'd recommend $275,975 from free cash And this would be for retirements or separations from the police department, the fire department, the highway department, and recreation.
So Mike, can you tell, I know I saw the listing of amounts in the departments. Can you give a high level of what is?
I can share it. I can share it if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great, because it looked like it was I thought it was a high amount. I think it would be interesting for the committee members to hear what these totals represent, if it's sick time, vacation time, or a combination of everything.
Mr. Chairman?
Aaron?
While we're waiting for that to come up, also are these separation expenses, I assume these are all contractual, right?
Yes, Aaron.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Michael Fiore?
Hi, Mike. I just want to know, when you go through them, could you just let us know the number of individuals that are involved in these totals?
Sure. Okay. So the first one is the police department, and this would be for one individual, and it would be vacation and sick time. And the fire department is for 3 individuals, and it's the same, it's vacation and sick time. Highway is 1 individual, vacation and sick time, and recreation is 1 individual, vacation.
Mike, do you know, I know it's vacation and sick time, but how many weeks are we talking? How many weeks of vacation and then how many weeks of sick time?
Sure. So I have it in hours. So the police department, it's 1,334 hours. Vacation is 248 hours.
Mike, is there a cap? Do they, like, have a cap on carryover per year?
Well, the vacation, they do have a cap on carryover. So the vacation would be, if someone left this year, it would be for a vacation that they have for this year and whatever they earned for next year, because the way we do the vacation, it's earned.
But you can't carry year to year, like you don't have...
No, some of the contracts you can carry 5 days. The maximum anyone can carry is 10 in some of the contracts, but most of them are 5 days. And obviously in the public safety departments this year, if someone retired, they probably didn't use much vacation because of COVID, so they had a lot of vacation time.
Mr. Chairman?
Aaron?
Mike, so these totals represent hours that people have accrued over the course of a full career, yeah?
Well, the sick time, yes.
For the sick time, and is it any different for the vacation time?
Vacation time would just be whatever they had for this current year and whatever they've earned for earned this year that would have been used next year. The way we do vacation, you earn it as you go along. So if someone, say, has 4 weeks vacation, they're earning that this year, and on July 1 next year, they have 4 weeks vacation, and then they start earning it for the following year.
So this 50, or, if we're talking about, on the fire department, you said 3 people, I think?
Yes.
So, 50 grand per person, that's for for a career's worth of sick time and 1 year or less of vacation time?
So in the, a lot of the contracts, they can accumulate their sick time and then they get 50% buyback at the end, up to a maximum amount of days. Some of it's 150 days. In the fire department, it's 180 shifts, which is a full day for them.
Mr. Chair?
Bill?
So, Mike, is this still continuing to this day, or are we trying to kind of stop this type of expense?
It's still in all the contracts. You know, some of it has been reduced as the years went along, and it's something that we look at every time in negotiations.
So again, for the, and I'm not picking on any one department, but it's one person for the police. What was the sick time in that, in hours?
So that person had 335 days of sick time, and so they get half of that. So it's 166.75 days times 8 hours, so 1,334 hours. So they get 50% of their accumulated sick time.
So there's no cap on that maximum, or there's no cap to what they can accrue. It's just 50% of whatever.
Correct. I'll have to check the contract.
Chairman?
Steve, you're on mute.
Oh, Mr. Chairman?
Sorry, Aaron, hold on one. Bill, are you set with your question?
I guess for now, it just seems, again, it's one of those things that just baffles me when it comes to budgeting. But whatever. Thank you.
No, I agree, and I agree with you. Aaron, I think that was Aaron. Aaron, did you have a question?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So Mike, I guess this, once it all piles up and gets, presented as a lump sum at the end of a career, it feels a little staggering. But not to try to sell this as a good thing, but the contracts being what they are, and people showing up for work, and not using those sick days and accruing them, is also over the course of the years less overtime on the books, right?
Correct.
I mean,
Yep, you're right.
This is not fun to look at right now, but if this is something somebody accrues over the course of a 25-year, 30-year, what are we talking in years, Mike, for these careers?
Probably 25 years, 20 to 25 years. And to answer the question, so the maximum days that can be accumulated under that contract is 360. And then for anyone that was hired after July 1st, 2005, it's 180 days.
And they get paid half?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Chairman.
Or they get paid
And I think-
for half the amount, or half the days.
And I think one of the struggles here is obviously they're accruing this over their career. We're paying it out at the highest rate. And when it's still hard to swallow from a budgeting perspective, lump sum payouts that come out. I think we were just recently talking about, can we sustain these kind of increases or these kind of payments? So my other question on this, Mike, if some of this is the current year vacation sick time, how much of it is in the current year's budget?
The only thing that would be in the budget would be the current year's vacation.
Okay,
So that would have already, yeah, so they would have accounted for that. And in the police association contract in the superiors, the one thing they have so that they don't get sick leave buyback is something that can become very costly. They have salary augmentation. So if somebody decides they don't want to have sick leave buyback at the end of their career, they can go into salary augmentation, which increases their salary 9% one year, 9% the next year, and 9% the year after that. So that can be costly too. You don't have the cost at the end, but you're having the cost.
No, and I think that has its risk as well. I just think there has to be a negotiating strategy at some point where, we can address some of these lump sums. It's just hard to swallow. But I'm going to go back to my question on the budget. So of this 275,000, 276,000, saying is in the current year's budget, we've already used the expense or the salary expense that was vacation?
So this vacation, the 1,425, would be vacation that was earned, that would have been paid, would have been used next year, for example.
All right, so it's just that small part of, so really the bulk of this is sick time.
And I know one of the payouts in the fire department is, one of the things we did with some of them is, in the contracts, is to spread payments out. So one of the payments, they're doing it over 4 years. I think there's one payment in there that's payment 3 of 4.
So these are situations where they may have already retired. This is just part of a payout plan?
Just that one, and then the other one is to fund those retirements. In full.
I just think it's difficult to swallow as we keep talking about expenses. I get it, it's contractual, we agreed to the contract, so it's just a little shocking when you see the number in front, I believe. So, any other questions from the Finance Committee regarding
Mr. Chairman?
Was that Zach?
Yeah. Mike, is there any way that we can have some kind of running spreadsheet on how many hours are accumulated between all departments? I know you don't have an HR person, so it may be a big ask. And including asking the school department for the same thing. I mean, do we have 27,000 hours accumulated between all the employees so we can know what the town's exposure is, moving forward?
Yeah,
I'll
check with accounting. I know they keep track of it individually. I don't know what type of spreadsheet we'd have to put it up on, or whether they have that.
Can somebody ask the schools as well?
Sure.
Thank you.
So Mike, what that same thing said is that it's on a spreadsheet, but then what's that process to review the actual total to confirm?
There's a person in the town accountant's office that oversees and keeps track of all the town payrolls and all the benefits, and she keeps track of all the time. She double checks everything.
All right. Any other conversation regarding the separation expenses? Okay, here I will entertain a motion on Article 9 of separation expenses. And you did say this, you're recommending free cash, Mike?
Yes.
All right, I have to read the account numbers, right, Mike?
Yes, please.
Okay. Mr. Chairman.
Amy.
I move that we recommend Article 9, separation expenses. The funds to come from free cash as follows. Account 001-210-510 police, in the amount of $77,423. Account 001-220-510 fire in the amount of $150,562. Account 001-420-510 highway department in the amount of $46,565. Account 001-630-510 in the amount of $1,425 for a total amount of $275,975.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to recommend Article 9 to utilize free cash to fund the following separation expenses from from Department 210, account 510, police, $77,423. For Department 220, account 510, fire department, $150,562. Department 420, account 510, highway, $46,565. Department 630, account 510, recreation, $1,425. I'm not sure if I said this, for a total of $275,975. Any other discussion or conversation at this point? Okay, hearing none, I'll go to the vote. Amy?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Mike Fiore?
Yes.
Bill Rotunda?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
And I'm also a yes, that's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you. The next article is Article 10. This is to approve the collective bargaining agreement with the Norton Police Association and also the Norton Police Superior Officers Association. The Select Board voted on the 15th to approve these contracts. And the police chief does have money in his budget to cover this expense. So the vote would have to be to approve with the funding coming out of the FY21 Police Department budget. And I think you have in your packet a breakdown of what the costs are for this year. The $18,400 for the Norton Police Association and $8,800 for the Norton Police Superiors Association are $27,200 that the police chief would fund out of this year's current budget. And this would be for all 8 superior officers and 24 police association members.
So Mike, you're saying, when you're saying about funding it out of this year, you're talking FY21?
Correct. Yep.
So, okay. Any discussion? Can you give a high level, Mike, or can you give a high level
I
on
can.
what
Yep.
the length of the contract is and what we're providing?
So it's a 3-year contract that actually began on July 1 of 2020, and it will go to June 30th, 2023. And it'll be a 2% raise each year for both unions. And in the police association, there's increases in their education incentive each year. So as you can see with the $11,1200, so that covers an increase of $500 in the bachelor's and $900 in the master's degree for the Norton Police Association. And also there's an increase in their training stipend of $300. And one of the things in here is the salary. They agreed to the salary augmentation that I talked to you about before. Instead of starting that at 22 years, someone would have to be at 25 years in order to do that. And then the next one with the superior officers, this also is a 3-year contract, and their training stipend in year 1 went up $1,000 and then $250 each year after that. Their education in the first year, the bachelor's went up $250. The associates went up $250, and the masters went up $300. And then after that, the associates does not increase, and the bachelors and masters would increase $250 a year.
So Mike, when you're saying that the bachelor's and master's degrees, that's actually compensation. Their rate of pay is going up, right? It's not true cost of educating them, right?
Right. It's an incentive that someone that has a bachelor's degree would get paid more money than someone that doesn't have a degree, and someone that has a master's obviously would get paid more.
Okay, so when we're looking at this summary here with education, that's really the salary, personnel charges?
Right. It's like, think of it, like a salary or a stipend. It gets figured into their weekly pay.
Okay, and then the training.
It's not paid out at once. It's spread out over the 26 payrolls.
But so our vote though, because isn't training under charges and expenditures in the budget itself? If someone was taking a training that they needed a reimbursement for, to pay for a fee to a company or a school, that would come out of expenses. This is coming out of salary to the employees. Okay, so everything here on this is all salary items?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, and Mike, can you just explain again the salary augmentation plan, how that's working? So they make an election for...
So if someone decides to go on to the salary augmentation plan, they agree that when they retire, they won't get sick leave buyback. So they get a 9% boost in their salary 1 year, and then another second year they get another 9%, and the third year they get another 9%. Now when that 3-year period ends, their salary goes back to what it should be. And so they can't get sick leave buyback when they retire, but they can start accumulating sick leave again.
Right, so, okay, that would be my question. So is it based, so you said based on, they have to have 25 years of service now, is that right?
Correct.
But they could be several years away from retirement trying to build up that buyback.
It could be that, well, they could, but police officers, the older ones can retire at 55.
Okay. And I know they're all excited to work for Chief Clark, so they don't want to retire, but...
That's right.
All right. So I think, does anyone else on the Finance Committee have any discussion regarding these collective bargaining?
Mr. Chair?
Bill?
You know I couldn't resist. Two questions, Mike. Do we fund 100% for tuition, or is that a benefit? Is that partial? How's that?
There is a benefit, but there's only a certain amount of money each year. So.
Okay. And with this salary augmentation, so I'm a sneaky guy, and for 24 years I've used all my sick time allotted to me every year. Am I still allowed to do salary augmentation even though I would never benefit from Sick time buyback?
I would have to look at the 3-page agreement on salary augmentation to let you know that, but,
Mr. Chairman, would you like me to answer that?
That'd be great, Chief Clark.
I tried to stay silent as long as I could. So salary augmentation is certainly, you know, it does give a boost to the officer's salary over that period of 3 years. I'll be honest with you, doing the budget, this is more cost effective than sick time buyback. I've seen one officer who left prior to the end of 3 years, so he didn't benefit from the full package. And I just see that when you take the difference in salary augmentation, it's not quite half, but it's pretty close to half the amount that would be paid out at sick time buyback. You know, certainly the thought behind it, right, is to use the money up front and maybe put in deferred comp. I don't know if people are actually doing that or not, but that's kind of the thought behind it. As far as Mr. Rotundi's question, no, you have to have 180 days minimum. So you would need to have the sick time to be able to get into the program.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
So I think, Mike, I forgot, are you recommending using free cash to fund these?
no, the chief can fund it out of this year's
Oh,
budget.
that's right, I'm sorry, okay, thank you. So, I guess when we make this motion, is it we say right in there, they'll use it in FY21 budget?
Yes, this will be funded out of his FY21 budget.
Okay, Amy, I was trying to help out the wording, sorry if I didn't do enough for you.
So do I have to indicate anything about the funds since Chief Clark already has the funds?
I would just say you approve the article with funding coming out of the FY21 Police Department budget.
Okay.
Previously approved.
All right, so I will entertain a motion for Article 10 of the special town meeting.
Mr. Chairman,
Amy,
I move that we recommend Article 10 as written with funding coming out of the fiscal year 2021 Police Department budget.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to recommend Article 10 with funding coming from the FY21 Police Department budget. Any other discussion or conversation? Okay, hearing none, I'll go right to the vote. Amy?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Michael Fiore?
Yes.
Phil?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
And I'm also a yes. That's unanimous. Thank you.
And the next article is Article 11, and I'm recommending $90,046 from free cash. I'll share my screen. Let's see. This is for 2 items.
Mike, on this one, I know you're pulling it up and I apologize,
Yep.
but so far, if I'm looking at the schedule provided, there's nothing in there for the schools. So if we do come back, or if the schools come back, is this going to be another one of those we just have to reconsider?
Yes, I did talk with the superintendent, and he said he's fine right now. He did say May and June are going to be very tight, but he didn't have any need right now. So this would cover $87,629 for snow and ice, and $2,417 as part of the Bristol County Agricultural School assessment that was higher than budgeted.
So Mike, on that one, is that just an additional student that went to the school?
Correct, yeah. They give us the best estimate, and then if they have an extra student, then they let us know.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to recommend Article 11 of the special town meeting for operating budget supplements.
Mr. Chairman,
Amy,
I move that we recommend Article 11 with the funds coming from free cash and going as follows: to account 001-308-560 Bristol County Agricultural School, the amount $2,417. To account 001-423-570 snow removal, the amount $87,629 for a total of $90,046.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to recommend Article 11 of the special town meeting to use free cash to fund FY21 operating budget supplements for Department 308, account 560, Bristol County Agricultural School for $2,417. For Department 423, account 570, snow removal in the amount of $87,629 for a total of $90,046. Any other discussion, conversation?
Mr. Chairman.
Zach?
Mike, so on the snow removal, you had budgeted, I believe, 80,000. Is this another 80,000 on top of that? So you spent 167,000?
Yes.
And after this expense and the previous separation expenses, what would be the balance in free cash?
$96,024.
That's it?
Yep.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? And Mike, just to clarify, that would be after we would vote on this to use the 90,046, correct?
Right, after you vote on this. And it also includes, I gave you a new revenue and expenditure sheet, and I increased the amount of free cash for the budget. So after that, there'd still be $96,024 left. After the budget, capital, the tree service, the separation expense, and this supplements to the operating budget, would have $96,024 remaining.
Mr. Chairman?
Aaron?
Thank you. To refresh my own memory and put this into some historical perspective for some of our new members, does anybody, Mike, Mr. Chairman, or otherwise, remember how much free cash we took into the summers in, over the last few years? Ballparkish? What's the normal number, for us?
Normally it's around 2 million. I think last year was close to 4, but I'm not sure on that one.
Aaron, you mean?
I mean
after the May town meeting.
After, yeah, that we took into the summer after the May town.
I'll get that for you, a spreadsheet over the years so you can have that.
Yeah, how fully depleted is that free cash?
Okay. Yep.
And I don't need an exact number, but generally speaking, Mike, you put these budgets together over the years. You must have a sense of general target there. How are we doing?
I don't have that in front of me, but I'll definitely get that for you so you can see, because at every town meeting we always have the revenue sheet on where the funds are all coming from and what the balances are at the end. So I'll just pull out the last few years and let you know.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll go to a vote. Amy?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Mike Fiore?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
And I'm also a yes. That's unanimous. Thank you.
All right. On the annual.
Hey, Mike, I do have one quick question for you. And I think I have an answer, but on those separation expenses, that is not pensionable, correct?
So I believe it, overtime isn't pensionable, but your vacation and your sick time would be. Not, so it would be pensionable.
Okay.
And I will double check with the retirement board and let you know for sure, but I would think it is.
All right, thank you. If that's the case, if you talk to them, what that impact is dollar-wise on that pension, because that would be a lifetime benefit, correct? Depending on election and everything else. Okay.
So on the annual, let me share my screen. It's just a few articles. I know that some of them you'll be waiting till next week. So Article 10. Article 10 is an article by the Water and Sewer Department, and I talked to the superintendent, and right now I would recommend no action. They're looking to acquire a piece of land that abuts their Pine Street well, but they're looking at it with a conservation restriction on it, and it requires a in-depth appraisal because there may be some grant money for that. So the appraisal's not done yet, and Frank believes that this will have to wait until October, so I would recommend no action.
And Meg, if you would, did the select board, or Mike, did the select board vote on this at all?
They have not.
Okay. I will entertain a motion of no action on Article 10 of the annual town meeting.
Mr. Chairman,
Amy?
I move that we take no action on Article 10 of the annual town meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for no action on Article 10 of the annual town meeting. Any other discussion or conversation? Okay, hearing none, I'll go to the vote. Amy?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Mike Fury?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. That's unanimous.
In Article 11, I believe you'd prefer to wait until next meeting when the Board of Selectmen is present.
Yeah, it makes sense. There was a lot of discussion on the wording of that, and that was driven by the select board, so I'd rather have them here and have them voted on this one, have a conversation, so we could fine tune.
Yep. And probably for this one too, but I can go over this with you just to give you an idea of what's going on here. So I don't know if we've talked about it before, and I have a couple plans I can share. So Waste Management is looking to expand, and so they want to move by the property where the animal shelter and 9 Lives is. And so Condyne is trying to, they will build a new animal shelter and a new 9 Lives building for us on a piece of property at the entrance to Commerce Way. And once that those buildings are built and acceptable, we would swap properties. They would take over where the animal shelter and 9 Lives are now, and we would take that other property. So that is where, so this would just authorize the Board of Selectmen to negotiate that deal with Waste Management and Condyne. So it'd be no expense to us. We'd get 2 new buildings, and Waste Management will be able to expand.
With that, Mike, I think there's a couple of residential homes in that area. Have they been contacted, or at least let them know?
Where the animal shelter is now?
Yeah, isn't there a couple of residential neighborhood houses right there?
There is one across the street, I think. And there may be some further up across from the the sewer facility. But we would reach out to them.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Michael Fiore?
Yeah, Mike, what would happen to the police firing range behind all that?
Yeah, that would stay, and we'd work an easement, because when they first talked about this, like, where do you think we're gonna move a firing range and an animal shelter? Those are two of the hardest things to locate in a town. And then Condyne said, well, we have this lot where we had a building permitted before, but we didn't build it, so we could do the animal shelter and the 9 Lives there. And I know the police chief is comfortable where the range is right now and wanted to stay. So as part of this, it would also be an easement to allow that.
Okay, so obviously Waste Management doesn't mind having a firing range in their backyard.
I guess it makes them feel safe.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
And so, Mike, this article is really just giving the select board the authority to negotiate this, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Does anyone else out on the finance committee have this conversation or discussions regarding this? I will entertain a motion.
Can someone who's not on the finance committee comment?
Oh, absolutely. I'm sorry. Who just was that?
My name is Darlene Borowiak. I live at 2 Miller Terrace. I'm president of the board of directors of the 9 Lives Animal Shelter.
Okay.
Yes. We are a privately owned building. We are not a town building. We are on town land, but we built the building, and we would like to have a lot of say in this, because we paid for the building that currently exists. We're very happy in our location, and we're not pleased with the location that's being proposed.
And Mike, will that discussion, obviously it will happen?
Yep, that discussion will have to happen, yes.
We were also looking at trying to understand, that's I believe an industrial zoned area, and just making sure we're not giving away something that we could, utilize in a different way down the road as well. So, but Darlene, to your point, we will absolutely this would be an open discussion about what's right for the community as well.
All right, good, because we just learned about this. I mean, we haven't been included in any of the previous discussions of this, and we would very much like to be included in the future.
Noted.
And Darlene, thank you for attending this meeting and pointing that out. And that's one of the conversations, I think, is overall communication where it's impacted. This would have happened, or it will happen. But thank you for attending our meeting and voicing your concern.
Okay, thank you for letting me speak.
You're welcome. So, anyone else? I think, again, this is just authorizing that conversation to begin. It's not funding, it's not providing any funds, and it's not approving a final resolution on this. So,
right. I'll send you the locations, and then next week you could have more discussion on it.
do you think we should wait for next week, Mike, or do we have enough here? I mean, I'm gonna highly go with what the select board recommends on this one, and knowing they'll have a conversation. There's not much in here. They will have a conversation and figure out the best plan and bring those people involved, because there's residents as well. But this is, again, just first step of having that conversation, correct?
Correct.
So at this point, I will entertain a motion to approve Article 12 of the annual town meeting.
Mr. Chairman,
Amy?
I move that we recommend Article 12 as written.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to recommend Article 12 as written. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Zach?
just a clarification, why does this need to go to town meeting if they're just in the preliminary stages of negotiation?
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead, Mike.
Because this would authorize the select board to make that decision, so if town meeting gave the select board the authority, then the select board could then sit down and talk with Condyne and Waste Management and Nine Lives and see what terms and conditions are the best for the town and in the best interest of the town. And they may not agree, or they may agree, but if they do agree, then there'd be a delay to come back to another meeting. But this at least gives the board the authority to do that.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll go to the vote. Amy?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Michael Fiore?
Yes.
Bill?
Yeah.
Aaron?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. That's unanimous. Thank you.
And then the next two articles you'll discuss next week, I believe, with the school committee and the superintendent and the business manager, the energy management services contract and the engineering design and construction to install the sewer line at the Henry A. Yell. I don't know if you've talked about that yet, if you're comfortable on voting on that.
No, we haven't had discussion on that yet, Mike. If you have questions, I'd rather have the school
Sure.
attend the meeting if they can.
Yep. The only other two articles would be 19 OPEB funding and 20 stabilization funding. And I would recommend no action on these right now, something that we could address in the fall.
Okay. No, it's fine. So I always think of Paul Helmrich, which was an old member when we start talking about OPEB, and I think Bill,
I know, right?
Bill has taken that baton for you in the last few years. So,
We'll give them a few months to prepare then.
I entertain a motion for Article 19 of the annual town meeting of no action.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we recommend no action on Article 19 of the annual town meeting.
Second.
And I apologize, could, if we're not talking, could somebody mute? I'm not sure when that's coming, but there's a lot of background noise. I think, Amy, I heard motion, and Aaron, did you second?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I did have a motion and a second, recommend no action on Article 19. Any other conversation or discussion? Gary? Mike, are you able to mute, Mike? Can you automatically mute?
Let me, Charlene may be able to do that. Let me see.
It appears to be Carol's iPad.
Okay, I think, so we have a motion and a second to recommend no action on Article 19. Any other discussion? Okay, thank you. Hearing, and that's definitely Carol's iPad sticking out. Go to the vote. Amy?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Fiore?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. That's unanimous. I'll also entertain a motion regarding no action on Article 20 of the annual town meeting.
Mr. Chairman,
Amy?
I move that we recommend no action on Article 20 of the annual town meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to recommend no action on Article 20. Any other discussion or conversation? Hearing none, I'll go to the vote. Amy?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Mike Fiore?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. That's unanimous.
It is, what about me?
I'm sorry, you know, Zach? Zach,
Yes.
it's still unanimous. Thank you. I was testing to see if you'd stay quiet, Zach. I don't know.
You thought I fell asleep on. Well, that was the stabilization when I was gonna vote no, but.
And that's all I have for tonight.
Okay. I think so for next week, we have the school department will attend. Paul Giuseppe, the select board will attend so we can finalize Reed and Barton and the school articles. We can vote on those. Also, I know we have a couple of minutes from finance committee minutes that Pat has, so I will put those this week. And we hopefully have those as a pre-read so we can vote on those and get caught up. And Mike, just one quick thing. Do we have any update regarding the past minutes where somebody was going to be going through the recordings and taking those minutes?
Yeah, I don't know where they are on that. I'll check and see.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I'll call you, Steve.
Okay, appreciate it. Unless there's any discussion right now, I think entertain a motion to adjourn at 8:17.
Mr. Chairman,
Amy,
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any other discussion? Amy?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Mike Fiore?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
And this is where I followed up the last time. Zach?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. Thank you guys very much and be safe.
Have a good evening.
Good night.
Night all.
Enjoy.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.